Welcome to For Collector channel. Do like, share, and subscribe.
Welcome to 4K channel. Today I'm going to share with you my latest acquisition, which is this $2 silver certificate, which is part of the 1896 educational series. Now there were a total of 3 notes issued in this particular series: the $1, the $2, and the $5 denomination. I only have the $1 and $2. I've already made a detailed video earlier on this $1 denomination, which is awesome. Do check it out. And I just recently acquired the $2 denomination. I wasn't looking to collect the entire series or even partial series, but just came across this beautiful note in pretty good condition. Even though it's 25, very fine, it's pretty nice actually. Bright colors and pretty much intact. So I was happy to get my hands on this one. So let's talk about the design and also a little bit of the backstory. So the whole entire educational series was a big, risky undertaking by the BEP. You know, they went away from the usual portrait of a politician on a banknote to a more, expansile, mural-based design. And even though the artwork, in my opinion and opinion of a lot of the collectors, is amazing, it had some practical flaws that had to do with, the artwork taking so much space that the counterfeiting features were difficult to detect, and these notes could be easily counterfeited. Anyways, eventually 2 years after their introduction, so these were introduced in 1896, and by end of 1897 these were replaced because of all the criticism. So now the backstory behind this note is pretty interesting. And that has to do with the design of the note. What had happened was, when they were looking to come up with this design for all 3 notes, they had chosen 3 prominent artists of that time: Will Lowe, Walter Sherlaw, and Edwin Blashfield. And they were supposed to collectively come up for design of $1, $2, $5, $10, and $50 denomination. Will Lowe is the person who designed this $1 denomination, and he did an amazing job. For the $2 denomination, he had a totally different design. For $2 denomination, he came up with this beautiful design of peace and war. But the BEP chief at that time, Claude Johnson, was not impressed. He initially asked him to make some minor modifications, but then eventually he said, no, we're gonna go with something different. Will Lowe obviously was not happy. They were, paid $800 per design. So he was never paid for his particular design, since it was never accepted. Instead, Claude Johnson, the BEP chief, told Edwin Blashfield. Edwin Blashfield had designed this particular note for the $50 denomination. So instead of 2 here, there was the $50 written out and part of the design. So he was told to change his design and accommodate it for the $2 denomination. At first, Blashfield resisted it because he, being the designer of the higher denomination, the $50 denomination, is more prestigious, so he didn't want to change his design, but eventually they convinced him. And what had happened was, when he did change this back design, again, Chief Claude Johnson was not happy. You know, he wanted other modifications, and eventually what they did was a kind of like a hybrid design, where they took the main central element from Edwin Blashfield's design, but then had a different designer by the name of Thomas Morris, who was an engraver, I believe, have him instead design the background and the borders. So the front design is a collaborative effort of Blashfield and Morris. Now let's take a look at the actual design. So each of these educational series notes has a different theme. The $1 has that, you know, history, instructing youth. That's the theme. On the $2 denomination, we have science, introducing steam and electricity to commerce and industry. So let's take a look at these allegorical figures. So there's 5 allegorical females in this design. We have the motherly figure, which is science, and she is proudly introducing her newest innovations, electricity and steam, to 2 other grown-up women, which represent commerce and industry or manufacture. So here we have this young child holding a coil of wire, you know, representing electromagnet and electricity. And on the other side, we have another child holding a gear that's supposed to, holding a lever that's supposed to work the gear of an engine. So basically, science is, you know, proudly highlighting the advances in newest innovations and advances in electricity and steam, and how they can, you know, promote or benefit the existing industries and commerce. So it's really interesting design, and I think it works really beautifully. There's kind of like a symmetry to this design with these 2 women and then 2 child, kind of like a pyramid design. So it works quite well. We have the serial number in blue, and then the seal in red. On either side, we have these very stylized mantles, kind of in the shape of shields, and you have the 2 silver dollars written out. And on the bottom here, we have signatures of the, I can't read it, Register and Secretary of Treasury, I believe. And these signatures are, on my particular notes, are Tillman and Morgan, which were issued in 1896. And if you have Bruce and Roberts, that's a different Freeburg number, and that was issued in 1897. So this is Freeburg number 247 with Tillman and Morgan signatures. So that's the front design. Really stunning. And let's turn it over. On the back, you know, it's interesting. Most of the US currency pays tribute to politicians, but this banknote, this particular banknote, pays tribute to scientists and innovators. So on the back we have 2 inventors. On the left we have Robert Fulton. He's the one who came up with the commercial steamboat. And then on the other side, we have Samuel Morse, the man who invented telegraph. So this ties in really well with the front theme of science, electricity, and steam. Here we have an inventor who invented basically steam engines, and then other side we have inventor who invented the long distance electronic communication. So I like the fact how the front and the back design are kind of tied in together. Now this back design was done by Thomas Morris. That's the same guy who had designed the borders on the front, but he also got to design the whole back of the note. And he used these two portraits were actually engraved by Lorenzo Gage. So he used Lorenzo Gage's engravings for the portraits. And then I think the overall design is pretty cool. You have a very stylized numeral 2 here, and then it's kind of flipped on the other side, and then you have really ornate borders. I think it's really well done. I got the silver certificate written out here. Now it's similar to the one for the $1 denomination, which is still my favorite, with husband and wife, Martha and George Washington. But this $2 denomination is also very cool, but it's in keeping with the same overall design. So all in all, these two banknotes are really beautiful. This $1 denomination, they actually, all three made it into the 100 Greatest American Currency Notes book by Sunman and Bowers. This $1 denomination is ranked number 7, which I agree with the ranking. It's, I think, really cool and very intriguing. There's so much to see here. We have the Constitution, we have this history instructing the youth, the scene of Washington, D.C., and all the famous, Americans' names in the wreath. So this is certainly worthy of this, top 10 greatest banknotes design. This one here is not very far off. This is ranked number 11, and I think we've had better designs, at least for the front of the note, but I can see why this is such a collector favorite. Let me know in comments which one between the two is your favorite. I think the $5 denomination is overall the winner for me. It's amazing, but these $2 and $1 denomination are quite beautiful, quite stunning. Okay, guys.
Check out For Collector YouTube channel for more content.